I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I ain't gonna sit here and waste y'all's time. If you've had one singular thought, if you have had any sort of inclinage that you want to go see the Chainsaw Man movie, I am going to highly recommend that you do so. So for the other three of y'all that want to stay here and listen to me yap about how good the Chainsaw Man Reze Arc movie was, I got a lot to say. But before I do that, I'm going to put one final disclaimer here at the start of this video. And it's not a spoiler warning because I want everybody who wants to go see this movie to go see it blind. What I am going to warn you guys is that I am a huge Tatsuki Fujimoto glazer. And although Chainsaw Man is maybe like in my top 15 mangas of all time, I'm going to let you guys know right off the bat here, I am going to glaze this movie because I loved just about every single aspect of it. And Tatsuki Fujimoto should be extremely thankful that he got a wonderful adaptation of his work, because I can tell you with full certainty I'm extremely thankful that he got such a great adaptation. I finished reading Chainsaw Man Part 1 back in 2021, and I remember I did so, I believe it was the summer right after I'd gotten done in college. I had taken some time off work as my brother was in town for the first time in a while, and I was just thinking to myself, hey, this is going to be the last summer that I have before I go into the workforce. And I had heard some really great things about Chainsaw Man, so I decided one day, okay, I'm going to pick this up. I have nothing to do these next couple days. Now my brother is unavailable. I'm going to read it. And I am not exaggerating when I say I read all 97 chapters of Part 1 in a day. I mean, it's only 97 chapters, but I spent the entire day reading. And as I was reading at this outstanding rate for my standards, I could still comprehend that the Reze arc was something truly special in this manga. It is an arc that continues to be one of my favorite, not just of part 1, but in general the series itself. And to see it animated and adapted in such a wonderfully crafted way, it moved me. It moved me a lot. It's probably the most I've been moved while watching an anime film since, I don't know, A Silent Voice, the first time I saw Princess Mononoke. And it did so because this arc is one that shows us a lot about Denji. It shows us a lot about how he doesn't resent the people that have wronged him. It shows us how people continuously take advantage of that childlike nature of his. I mean, he is a child, but as a main character, in case you haven't read Chainsaw Man, he's gone through a lot in his young age. And despite the continued abuse and atrocities that he goes through on a weekly basis, he finds a way to still appreciate what he has. I've always appreciated the way that this arc in particular is structured because at the start we see Denji meet Reze, a girl who works at a local coffee shop who throws a wrench into the way that Denji feels. Because at this point in time, he deeply adores, and in certain ways is obsessed with Makima, the girl that in his eyes saved him from his rock bottom moment. Well, one of his rock bottom moments. And Reze is the first girl that has ever really given him attention. And there is certain parts of it which are just teenage infatuation and that teenage hormones of, wow, she's paying attention to me. That must mean that she likes me, right? And it's that blind, childlike trust that Reze really likes about Denji, and what causes Reze to resonate with Denji in a way. She's a cheerful gal who just wants to teach Denji new things about the world, and she does. She teaches him how to swim. She teaches him the real meaning of a teenage love. And as we're going through this first half of just being a teenager, just doing normal things, there's still this sense in the background that there's something wrong or that something is going to happen. And the turning point that I noticed as an audience member was during the pool scene. Now, the pool scene was fantastically done, but there's this one part in the background which heavily foreshadows as to where the film is going. See, as Denji is learning how to swim with Reze, there's this kind of cut to a spider and a butterfly on a web. And as we're watching this beautifully animated and emotionally heightened scene where we see Denji slowly start to fall in love with Reze, at the same time we see the spider slowly start to tangle that butterfly into its web. And it's after this scene where we metaphorically start to see the spider sink in its fangs. Now, I can go on and on about how much I loved the first half of the movie, how emotional it made me, and how sad it also made me to know of what was to come. But I was also so hyped during the second part of this movie. I have had a shirt for years of Denji riding Beam And if you guys have seen the trailers, that fight scene where Denji and Beam are fighting Bomb Girl and the Typhoon Devil, it's absolutely fantastic. If I had to summarize it into one word, it would be spectacle. And I honestly think that the second half, where it's just nonstop action, is some of Mappa's best work. The color palette that they selected for certain portions of the film, as well as just the absolute detail behind the fights, were absolutely fantastic. I'm honestly just absolutely thankful that I got to see Mappa do their best in a theater full of people that enjoy this property. I'm really happy that I got to see Tatsuki Fujimoto's work on the big screen, and I'm really happy that the wait for more animated Chainsaw Man was well worth it. And to close off this video, if there was a second word that I have to describe this movie with, it would be emotional. I've always enjoyed the Reze arc for what it is, for both Denji's character as well as what it kind of means to me, as I've always been a sucker for the stories of what could have been. So to close off this video, I would like to end it the way I started it, by highly recommending that you go see the Chainsaw Man movie. Not seeing it in theaters is not going to be the end of the world. However, this is a very accessible movie where if you've seen Chainsaw Man and you just want to take a friend, a family member, well, maybe not a family member, just somebody that you would want to experience this with, you can give them a Cliff Notes version of what Chainsaw Man is. And the Reze arc is a self-contained arc, which I think most people will still appreciate. But no matter when or where you go see this film, please go do so. Because otherwise, if you don't, you might be missing out on not only an emotional spectacle, but you'd also be missing out on one of my favorite anime films of all time. But now it's your guys' turn. Let me know what you guys thought. Did you go see the Chainsaw Man movie? And if so, what'd you guys think? One kind of final thing that I wanted to talk about here at the end of this video is reading this in the manga was an absolute gut punch. And so to kind of demonstrate / hone in on the point that this was an emotional spectacle, I want you guys to know that seeing this film, listening to this film, and experiencing this film in IMAX no less, made the experience much worse. This is a gut-wrenching film, especially towards the end. And even though this film makes me feel this way, I still love just about every part of it, and I love that Tatsuki Fujimoto can make me feel this way. He is my favorite modern mangaka for a reason. Now with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate the continued support. If you enjoyed what you saw, please feel free to drop me a like, share the video, or subscribe. This has been Sagi Taco, certified heartbroken Chainsaw Man fan, and I will see you guys in the very near future for another video. Hasta luego.